Okay, guys, so I am Blair with Better Earth. For any of those of you who aren't familiar with Better Earth, we're a local sustainable packaging provider here in the Southeast, and we provide a whole, suite of sustainability services. And we work really closely with community partners to ensure that our compostables are a catalyst to diverting both food waste and plastic pollution from our landfills. And so one of the community partners that we absolutely love is Oceanic Global. And we have Zoe here today who will be speaking to Oceanic Global's work, specifically their revamped Blue Standard that I'm so excited to hear about. Some housekeeping notes before we let Zoe dive into her role, Oceanic Global, and the Blue Standard. We are trying out a new Teams webinar platform. So all of you guys are on mute and your cameras are turned off. But throughout the webinar, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw those into the chat. And at the end, we'll have time for Q&A where we'll be going through the chat, and you can also raise your hand. There's a feature at the top. It looks like a smiley face high-fiving. That's the raise your hand feature. You can use that, and I'll be able to unmute you during the Q&A so that we can have a really good conversation around plastic pollution, sustainable packaging, Oceanic Global, the Blue Standard, and more. So without further ado, I'm going to pass things over to you, Zoe, and let you go ahead and kick things off.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here and virtually meet you all. I'm really excited today to dive into our newly launched Blue Standard. A little bit about myself. I have a background in sustainability. I've been in the field for about 15 years now, really working in multiple capacities. I started my career in corporate sustainability at NBC Universal, really tackling their green initiatives there, everything from energy conservation to looking at the studio spaces to real grassroots movements and involvement in the community there. I've also most recently been involved in the within the standard space, doing lead and most recently WELL, where I was part of the DELOS and the IWBI, the International Well Building Institute, really launching and having that standard, the well building standard, gain traction globally. So I'm really excited to be part of the Oceanic Global team. During this process where we really evolved our standard and have the newly launched Blue Standard, which we'll talk about today. So a little bit about Oceanic Global. We're an ocean conservation nonprofit. And the kind of business side of it is the newly launched Blue program. And so the Blue program really focuses, initially had focused on single-use plastics and ridding business operations of single-use plastics. And we really evolved it to not only focus on single-use plastics, but to have more of an overarching sustainability initiative and platform there. And we've also rolled out a few more offerings, which I'm really excited to dive into today and discuss with you. Just a little bit of background on our relationship with Better Earth. We've been working together for the past few years. We are so impressed with the work that Better Earth is doing. I know a lot of you are calling in-house from there. So thank you for all your efforts there. And, you've been a trusted partner for us for a very long time. So we're really excited to have this opportunity to talk directly in collaboration with you as well. So like Blair said, put any questions you have in the chat. And then also we're going to save a lot of time at the end to do a deep dive into any of your questions and talk about that more in depth. So write them down and we'll be sure to get to them. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, I'm going to assume everyone can see my screen. If you can't, I'll trust that Blair will shout out to me. But like I said, we are really excited to be sharing with you Blue, a standard by Oceanic Global. Um, and like I mentioned, Blue is really an evolution of what our previous standard was, the Oceanic standard, or short TOS, which some of you may have heard of already. We launched that in 2018, and 3 years later, we're here. We took the time to really evaluate our standard, and we wanted to evolve it and give it a fresh look. We came up with the name Blue because we're all part of a blue planet. And our impacts and our contributions really matter to create a more sustainable future for everyone. You'll see in our logo, it is not only a version of the Oceanic Global logo, but it's created in a ripple effect, because we really believe that um, these small changes create a ripple effect, not only in our lives, but in business operations. And that's really how we can create lasting, impactful change for the environment. So a little bit about the program itself. It's a first of its kind cross industry standard. So that's really important to keep in mind, because we don't have a specific industry. We really believe that this program can reach a variety of different industries and have a really large impact globally. So the process is a verification, and there's two real branches to it. There's the business operations branch, and that's a 3-star verification. And then our newly launched, this is a new offering from us, is the product and packaging seal. So this is looking at products and their associated packaging, or just the packaging of consumer goods, and really ensuring that they're plastic free. So consumers can go to the store, make purchases, and be really confident that the purchases that they're making are leading to a more sustainable planet. At first, I'm going to go through our business operations. So this is what our standard looks like. It's a 3-star platform. All of them, have a mandatory item that it must meet or exceed local waste management regulations. So for all three, that's a fundamental principle for it. To receive 1 star, so that's really our entry certification level, a company has to eliminate 3 single-use plastic items and implement 1 blue action. And I'll talk about the blue actions in just a bit. To receive 2 stars, they must eliminate 6 single-use plastic items and implement 3 blue actions. And for our highest tier is the plastic-free tier. So you'll see there is that ribbon that really highlights that plastic-free component, and that's eliminating all mandatory single-use plastic items and implement 5 blue actions. So I'm going to take a moment to talk a little bit through that in more detail. So first, one thing when we were developing Blue, like I mentioned before, we wanted to go beyond single-use plastics and really make it a more holistic and overarching standard that really took into account a more in-depth look into sustainable practices. So the blue actions are an area for that. So that will look at just a variety of things that go beyond that single use, like waste management, um, food procurement, supplies procurement, things like that. So it's really important for us to, like I said, go beyond and really make a lasting impact on the operational side of things as well. Something we're really excited about with the Blue Actions is there's the opportunity to do innovation Blue Actions. So we want to give credit for businesses that are really doing unique things to protect our environment, that are really like I said, unique for their industry specific. We just had a conversation with a hotel that is located in the Caribbean that is doing a lot of sea turtle protection work. So, sea turtle protection is not something we have in our suggested Blue Actions, but it's something that is so important and hyper localized to what they're doing. So we want to give credit to businesses that are really doing the best that they can for their location as well. So that's really exciting to be able to hear about those innovative ideas and really having everyone push themselves to be thinking about what they can do within their organization as well. Also, I want to just touch upon the mandatory word there. Eliminating all single-use plastic items is, it's an undertaking, and it's incredibly important. But we also want to give, highlight the fact that right now there's not solutions for every single plastic item. A great example is in back of house trash bags. Right now, there's not a good alternative to trash bags, so that's a non-mandatory item. We want to meet businesses where they're at, really push them to go plastic free, but recognize that there's some things that right now there just isn't an available substitution. Hopefully, in the years to come, these non-mandatory items, there will be solutions available on the market, and we'll be able to update our standard as we evolve with the industry as well. You'll see some of our partners down here, everything from big corporates to hotel chains to more traditional office spaces. So, as I had mentioned before, restaurants, as I had mentioned before, we really made the standard be inclusive of a variety of different industries, because we know that this impact really it can take effect in multiple platforms. Then looking at the product and packaging seals. So this is two levels to this seal. The first level is the product seal. So that's really pushing the product itself to be plastic free, as well as the packaging. Then we understand that sometimes the product itself can't be plastic free, but companies still want to make an effort to do their part for the environment, and want to make a commitment to getting their packaging plastic free. A lot of times when we talk about electronics or the beauty industry right now, removing all that plastic from the products itself might be limiting, but there's so many that want to start that process, and the packaging seal is a great way to start that. And of course, the product seal is the tier above, when you're really going after that sustainability altogether for both the product and the packaging. So this is a pretty stringent criteria in order to receive this seal, that can go, as you can see the example on the side, can go on either your product or your packaging, depending on which one you go for. So what we really look for is that it's not only plastic-free materials, but there's an end-of-life strategy. It's compatible with waste management structures. It's recyclable, it's compostable, and we look at material sourcing as well. So a great example of the material sourcing part is making sure that if it's a paper or cardboard product, that it's FSC certified or a local equivalent. So we understand that we are a global standard. So we want to make sure that we are highlighting not only things that are standards that are well known here in the United States, but that will honor equivalents throughout different places around the world. So really looking at what our impact is. So we work with over 400 businesses currently, and we're seeing that number tick up, which is really exciting for us. There's been such excitement surrounding Blue. We're in 28 countries. We have a really robust consultant network that's ever growing as well. There's over 300 plus Blue List solution providers. Better Earth will find themselves on the list when we get to that slide as well. And really exciting is we've already shaped 7 government policies. And we love seeing that. That's how we can really make such a strong impact and push for these sustainable movements. Um, So, looking at the programs that we've created here, the different sectors are the hospitality industry, which is both hotels and restaurants, music, events, offices, sports, and consumer packaged goods or consumer goods. So the consumer goods is really that product and packaging seal, where the other ones are the 3-star verification. Just a little bit about hospitality. I'm just going to call out some of the biggest names we work with through these next few slides, just to give you a high level glimpse into what it's like. So, like I had said, Sandals from a resort hotel perspective, Mandarin Oriental in Bangkok, and then Bullet Bourbon down in Kentucky. With music, it's House of Yes, it's Heart Ibiza. Events, some of these, the DJ awards, office spaces. It's looking at Citibank. It's looking at M. Moser, which is an architecture firm. Um, and then we have our professional sports. Just something to note about the professional sports. It is housed under Blue, but this program um, has a unique nomenclature essentially. So it's called Super, and that follows a bronze, silver, and gold certification. But again, it all falls under the Blue umbrella. What we're most One of the things we're most excited about, I don't think there's a single thing we're most excited about, but we really understand that information should be open sourced. And while verification is extremely important for us and to really hold businesses accountable for what they're doing, and to create a platform to highlight those amazing commitments, we also understand that people are at different places within their journey. And so we've created a suite of open source step-by-step guides for anyone to look at, to review, to use within their organization, how they best see fit. So this lives on our website as well. So like I said, at people at any point in their journey can take a look at this, and see what our suggestions are for removing the single-use plastics, but also those blue actions, those higher level sustainability items as well. Um, Along those lines of blue actions, we've also done a really deep dive into the best sustainability practices beyond single use. So the blue actions that you'll find within our standard, we've also created these open source resources that really take a deep dive into what the issues are and how we can solve for them. So here's a list of the top 9, and we'll be rolling these out on an ongoing basis throughout the next few months, and these will be available on the website as well. And they're not only so informative, but they really help provide a roadmap on how to make that lasting change. We have a blue listed vendors you'll see down here at the bottom under dishware takeaway container. Better Earth is there, right there. So this is a global network of those over 300 solution providers globally, that we're able to really recommend and work with our clients undergoing Blue verification when they need resources that provide them alternatives to plastics. So in order to get on the Blue list, you have to have vetted products through Oceanic Global that align with our ethos and align with our requirements to be truly sustainable and truly plastic free. And when you do, you are on this Blue list, which will soon be available to all registered projects. So it is a way for us to highlight the great work that these vendors are doing, these great products that are being created, and then also incentive to push the industry to make sure that we are constantly evolving and creating and providing solutions that aren't detrimental to our environment, that actually enhance the world we live in. Just high level, some benefits of going for your Blue verification: consulting support. It's an independently verified program, so there's a lot of weight that's held to that. From a marketing standpoint, it's really a great way to showcase what your organization or your products have committed to. You get access to that network of solution-based vendors that we just talked about. A lot of times there's associated discount codes and deals for them. You'll be featured on our Blue business map, which we're really excited for. It's a business map. It's a project directory, so everyone can see, who's involved, who's engaged with Blue, and who's already become verified. And then also membership in our Blue community. So we are a network of organizations, of businesses, of vendors, who are pushing to do the right thing, and we want to connect with each other, with our network, share ideas and learnings, and really help each other and lift each other through this process. Just a high level how it works. I'm not going to spend too much time on here, but first you register your business. You connect with a consultant, either that's someone that you've already worked with, or you can connect with what us at Oceanic Global can help connect you with a local consultant or a consultant that specializes in an area of interest to you. There's an assessment and a documentation phase where essentially that is an area that the documentation is submitted, and then Oceanic Global reviews, and then finally you earn your stars, and you can really highlight that and wave that very proudly in all your marketing and communications. Just a little bit about our consultant network. So we personally train up Blue consultants to have a real in-depth knowledge of our standard, and the ability to work with clients across sectors and across the globe. It is, what we're really proud of is Blue is really is impactful, not only in big cities, but in island communities, in pretty much wherever there's industry. There's a way to really become plastic free, and do those commitments to sustainability. So it's important for us to train up people across the globe to be able to work with projects everywhere. And then finally, this is just a little overview. It's important to note that we do have a very in-depth advisory board. So everything that we've put into Blue has been reviewed, and also has been impacted by our advisory board. Everything from green chemistry to experts in the hospitality world to experts in the standard world, to really guide us and help make sure that we're presenting a product that is truly valuable and will have an impact, and also is scientifically vetted and is impactful there. And then just our Blue team, we're a lean team, but we're a mighty team, and we're always here to answer any questions that you have. And we just get so excited by this. And we just can't wait to work with everyone on the call and beyond. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that presentation. I'm going to go back to my video.
Thank you so much, Zoe. That was amazing.
Great. And so I know that was almost 25 minutes worth of me speaking at you. So I definitely would love to hear any questions or thoughts. Like I said, we just recently launched in the beginning of October. So, having this opportunity to talk with all of you so early on is really great as well. So we're all ears to hear, what you thought, what you think about it.
Definitely. Well, I know I learned a lot and would also love to hear from other folks on the call. Feel free to drop some questions or comments in the chat, or like I mentioned on the top, there's a little raise your hand button where we can call on you. So it looks like Savannah's asking, would love to understand how the standard, let me pull that up, sorry, would love to understand how the standard will be shared and socialized in order to build credibility among the general public. So excited about this.
That's a great question. So we've done quite a bit, just as an internal organization to get the word out. We work with a lot of people, like I said, our advisors from Oceanic Global and Blue specifically. But we also work with tons of, or a lot of businesses that are spreading the word, that are excited to share their achievements as well. So from that aspect, it's a lot of, in-house in-house promotion, but we're also seeing it from the people that we work with as well, from both a project standpoint and from a product standpoint. Everyone thus far has been really eager to share and promote. Um, and also, like I mentioned, the website has so many great resources, so we're trying to drive traffic to there as well, because it's pretty much a one-stop shop for everything that you need if you want to start a plastic free journey.
Yeah, I can ditto that. Their website is amazing. Just from kind of prepping for this webinar, I had so much fun going into the different pages and seeing all that. Um, I know John R. had mentioned Atlanta representing. We have State Farm Arena, Atlanta Hawks, Mercedes-Benz, Atlanta United, and Atlanta Falcons. So just another good shout out to Atlanta for building a plastic-free future right here in our city. As I mentioned, Better Earth is housed in Atlanta, so that's really exciting to see that y'all have other local partners as well. While we're waiting for other questions to come in, I know that I had one that popped up.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear, Zoe, what would a blue verified office look like?
That's a great question. And first, I just want to say we love Atlanta. Way to go, guys. Some really early adopters there. And the interest is still strong to evolve and take on more. So good job as a city. We just are so pumped about that. So what would a blue office look like? That is a great question. So a blue office is an office that is what ideally single use plastic free, is an office that puts a focus on sustainability, puts a focus on waste management. So, like I said, there's those three tiers. You can make a small commitment to, a very large commitment to going plastic free. But in my mind, when I go into a blue verified office space, there's reusable mugs available. There's dishwashing resources available. You're not seeing people with plastic water bottles on their desks. You're seeing people with, mugs. A company sponsored mug even is even better to really garner that enthusiasm. But going beyond that too, a blue office could be one that takes into account catering guidelines. So if you do events at your office, lunch and learns, really looking at where that food's sourced, what kind of plates and dishes and cutlery is an office offering. I mean, that's right up the alley of you guys right now. What can you see, in there is when you walk into a blue office, uh, is it's just this idea that you understand that their commitment to sustainability and a commitment to combating climate change is seen and felt, and really has enthusiasm through the employees.
Thank you so much for elaborating on that. I know at Better Earth, we're all about walking the talk, and no better place to start than at home in your office. So thank you so much. Um, I see John R. saying we got to get those World Series Braves on board. So another Atlanta
Yes.
team. And Savannah saying, yes, we're excited to get our office blue certified. So excited for all the support in the chat. Does anyone else have any other questions for Zoe, comments, or anything like that while we're all kind of here together? We'll be sending out a follow-up email as well with other ways to get in touch and get involved. But definitely always want to use this space while we're all here to have a really good conversation. John R is asking, can cities get certified or other local governments?
Yeah, that's a great question, John. And we actually are working on right now, some island wide projects so making the entire island blue verified. Cassia is jumping in a little bit. She's our director. She's saying it's not currently for regions, but we do work at the destination wide level. Like I had said, island wide projects. And we really like working with local governments to really push push this out as well. And local governments can be, twofold. One, creating that legislation that really pushes forward more of a plastic-free future. But at the same time, like we were just talking, practicing what they preach, having their offices or on a federal level or a local government level go blue as well. It is a great way for them to show their commitment as well.
Awesome. And you brought up actually one of my next questions. If you could elaborate further on the 7 policies that you guys shaped, that was so exciting to see those impact numbers. 400 businesses, 7 policies. So would love to just hear some more. And kind of to that point, if y'all work in any markets specifically where there's single-use plastic bans, I'm envisioning like coastal communities that are putting out a lot of that legislation kind of specific to their region. Yeah, just curious about your 7 policies.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to just touch upon one that I think we can really relate to as a group. So in New York City specifically, we were really instrumental in helping pass the plastic straw ban. And that's a great example of the types of policies that we're involved with. So we all know how detrimental and unnecessary plastic straws are. So seeing that, being able to go, for those of you that are familiar with the Oceanic standard, which was our previous version of the verification, our entry level was straw free. We've evolved to make it more comprehensive than that. We know businesses can go beyond just eliminating straws, but back when this started, that was still a major undertaking, and just showing the momentum behind that was a great example of how the work we're doing can really shape policies from, New York City, a huge, the biggest city, I think, in the US, one of them at least. I should know. I just lived there for 15 years. I moved a month ago. So I should know if it's the biggest city, but you get my point, that it really is looking for that.
And something you touched on earlier, the ripple effect, you know?
Mhm.
So love how you had mentioned that. Looks like we have some other kind of conversation in the chat. So John R asked, with other restaurant or with restaurants having to comply with regulations, they would only 60%, they would achieve level 1, correct?
Um, so uh, if I'm interpreting this question correctly, so even if you have to comply with your local regulation, but you're removing or haven't included those plastic items to begin with, yes, you would be able to qualify for the 1-star or the 2-star um, verification, blue verification, depending on, what your operations are and what you've been able to remove or not implement in the first place. And if you're already there because of local regulations, we'd love to work with you to push you a little bit further to become plastic free as well. Um,
That's
but
awesome.
John, if that's not a full answer to your question, just let me know and I could go into more detail on it as well.
Awesome. And I see that Maria from our team answered Jessica's question. We will be sending out a follow-up email with the recording so you guys can share this out to your network or your team for anyone who wasn't able to make it. We'll also be having, linking to Oceanic Global's website, the Blue website specifically, and the page where you can click to get certified. We can also share, Zoe's information if you're okay with that as well in the chat, so that you guys have an email or things like that to reach out directly with any additional questions. These have been great so far. And, let me make sure there's no other ones in there. Awesome. Seems like there's some good fodder for good continued conversation around, the city of Atlanta and how we can get more Atlanta businesses and beyond blue. So excited to have you on, learn more about what you guys are doing at Oceanic Global and how we can spread the word and get, more business partners that we work with involved and blue verified. So Let me just double check that we have no other questions in the chat before we go. Zoe, any closing remarks while we wrap up the conversation in the chat?
I think just in general, we're here to answer any of your questions. I know you're the people who are from Better Earth on the call. We're constantly discussing your products and our projects that are going for blue verification. So it's really exciting to have such a strong partner with all of you. So keep up the good work, and we're just excited for this next step in the evolution of our business, and really being able to make an even bigger impact. Both at home and globally. So keep up the good work, Atlanta. We want to see you guys everywhere throughout the world. And yeah, and of course, we're always available if you have more questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Zoe. And thank you again for everyone joining the call today, taking some time in your afternoon and being part of the Better Earth community. Follow us on social media so that we hope to see you next time on our next webinar. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Bye.